All right. Well, welcome back. Today we are doing a special edition within podcast called I Wish I Would Have Known. I think we've done a lot of these. They're super fun. But I think about all the things I wish I would have known, and the list is so long. Today on the podcast, we are lucky enough to have Nikki Russell from Aptitude Fitness and Paws. She has joined us for a couple of our podcasts, and it's a delight to have her. So thanks, Nikki. Of course, Nicky Wallace and I have been doing these for a long time. So give it to us straight, Nikki. What's your wish I would have known?
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Allie and Nikki. I think the one thing that I go back to over and over again that I wish I would have known is that nothing is in my control. As hard as I try, like I don't have control over anything that is happening. It's
Right?
just like, complete chaos. It's learning how to lean into the chaos, and sometimes you can manage the chaos, but really it doesn't come down to what I'm controlling at all. Um, so as I've gotten older, I've learned to rely on my faith a lot more and just come to realize that the more I follow instead of try to lead, things usually work out a lot better for me. So just letting go of more things.
I
Good
love
one.
that one. So, okay, as a business owner, your mom, you own two businesses that are fairly, I mean, I know Aptitude's been almost 5 years, but Pause has been about a year. So how do you let go? Give us some insight.
Yeah, like you said, so we have three young kids. I have an 8-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So I think that it's honestly because of all of those factors that it has become even more it's just more in my face that I don't control anything. So, like they all have their own little things and I can plan and I can do whatever I want, but it's not going to ever turn out the way that I did. So I think a lot of the things are literally dropping the ball. One of my best friends during COVID sent me this book called Drop the Ball. It was the best thing that I have ever read. She goes into examples of how she's trying to do all of the things, like all of the things, and she starts to delegate things to her husband. And he was in charge of picking up the laundry one day, and she was mad because she came home from work and the laundry hadn't been picked up. About an hour later, the doorbell rings and she goes and answers it, and it's the guy from the dry cleaners delivering their laundry. She's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, we deliver." And she's like, "Well, why didn't you ever tell me this?" "You never asked." So it's like those little things where like you think that you have to go pick up the laundry, but if you were to drop the ball, like research, like what else can you do to make your life a lot easier? In my world right now, and I'm getting over the guilt of this, but in order to provide for my family at the stage that we're in right now, with the two businesses and kids that are getting into sports and activities, I utilize another locally woman-owned business called Meaningful Meals, and she has a team of chefs that help. They listen to the type of menu that I want, the type of food that we want to have in our house, and she comes in and she makes our meals once a week, and then all we have to do is take this like healthy homemade meal and reheat it for our family. Like I said, I have a lot of guilt because that feels like really bougie, but at the same time, my family's getting fed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That was like, when I was expanding Hired SM, we hired her. Actually, I think it was the same gal. Oh my gosh. It was like the best thing ever because
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, before we hired her, we were getting DoorDash or eating out 4 times a week. And this saves us money because it's really expensive to eat out and to DoorDash.
Yes. Yeah. No,
It is.
that's so funny. Yeah, that was like my favorite. That's one thing I would love to go back to at some point, just because, and it was good, nutritious meals too. So then I was always impressed on how they like came up with different protein dishes or stuff. Yeah, that's a good one. Anything else you do?
Before we moved to Wisconsin, we outsource. I'll call it outsourcing. I like to call it outsourcing, Nikki. Then it sounds more like like it's a business deal. Like we outsourced laundry and cleaning, and it was the best thing ever. Today, living in my in-laws' basement, we outsource cooking. So my mother-in-law does most of the cooking. So that's
Very
amazing.
Nice.
But when we move into our house, probably in August, I'll have to figure out what things I need to outsource because, same thing, right? Like we have 3 kids. They're going in lots of different directions. And every night we're driving somewhere and we're either eating in the car, unhealthy stuff. And so, yeah, we're going to have to figure something out. So I'll be looking for outsourcing options probably in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And I do think just a lot of people get either A, so Nikki, I like how you brought up the example of like where they're eating out or like door dashing anyway. If you do the math, I'm like the best at this. Like I'm like, okay, if it's only going to save me like whatever. But if you do the math on it, what you're either like, I ran through a drive-through on the way home or on the way here because I had 20 minutes. Like if I would have hired this gal and she would have had a lunch for me, like I could have saved the time, and you're probably spending the time and the energy. That's kind of the same with like the cleaning. We do outsource our cleaning, which is great. That's just one thing. I'm like, I don't need 4 more hours of something to do on the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think just like sitting down, whether it's like just you that makes that decision or you and your partner, that, you can walk through like what's time better spent and what that looks like. I mean, I think there are so many options now to do some of that, that are a lot more feasible than they used to be. So, and then we just got to get over the guilt of it. Like,
yeah, it is. And then also just realizing that, like, getting over what is quote unquote conventional.
Yes.
So another thing that we do, we keep all of our daughter's hair products, toothbrush, everything is in our kitchen. Like we have a whole kitchen cabinet that is just like get ready for school stuff. Because once they get downstairs, I don't want them going back up because we're never going to leave the house. So we've moved everything into the room where they spend the most time in the morning to keep us on a schedule and get them out the door. That's not conventional, but it works for us.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That is
we have that issue too. Or they're like already, so I feel like we have bottles of stuff everywhere, but we probably should just do something like that. That's a good idea. I would have not thought of that. Well, good. That's a good one. No more control.
Yeah.
It is hard. Let it go.
Hard.
But.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us again, Nikki. It's a pleasure to have you on. We're so excited. We will be back with more I Wish I Would Have Known. So thank you.